into us in just the past 10 minutes, we are learning that the U.S. says it would consider taking off the Houthis terrorist group label if the Iranian-backed military group stops attacking ships in the Red Sea. Yes, President Biden's special envoy for Yemen said he wants to find diplomatic off-ramps. Again, the Houthi terrorist designation, which existed under Donald Trump, was taken away by Biden, then reinstated, but now apparently the negotiating with terrorists is the next diplomatic off-ramp they're looking for. Let's bring in our panel to react to this and so much happening in the Middle East. Pleased to have national security analyst, New York Times bestselling author, RISE chairman, actforamerica.org, Brigitte Gabriel, and also Air Force Special Operations Commander, retired national security expert as well, Glenn Ignazio. Welcome into you both.
Thank you.
I mean, it's not parody. It really is a statement here saying that they're going to try and negotiate if they stop attacking in the Red Sea. Brigitte, we already are looking at, our adversaries saying how weak Biden is. And the fact that they think they can negotiate with Iran, especially in the week where the IDF just took out a top commander, what is this going to signal?
Well, no wonder why our enemies are feeling empowered right now under Biden. You are empowering our enemies by signaling to them, please, we will take you off the terrorist list if you just work with us on this. You cannot negotiate with terrorists. America does not negotiate with terrorists because that strengthens the terrorist's position. And right now, they do not fear America. They know we have an administration that is not going to do anything. And look, the Houthis are only one arm of the terrorist monster, of the octopus of Iran. It's the Houthis in Yemen. You've got Hezbollah in Lebanon. You've got Hamas in Gaza. You've got in Syria. I mean, if we do this with the Houthis, what else? We're going to stop designating all the others? We need to cut off the head of the snake. Iran.
And you're from Lebanon. I know you have extensive knowledge of this, but this is what it is. It's the economic warfare that's going on here. And Glenn, you know it because this is a major shipping route. And they're trying to obviously get something out of it. But they're saying that they're going to offer them a quid pro quo. As a military guy here, are you laughing at this?
Yeah, actually, I was laughing on the lead up to this. And it is comical. I mean, if we take a look at what happened, we had 300 strikes on our troops within the Iraq-Syria area. And then we had to have somebody get, 3 get killed before we responded. Now, the same thing we look at the Houthis is, hey, they sink a ship today, but, we're not going to call you a terrorist tomorrow because, yesterday was just yesterday. I mean, it just cracks me up that there is no strength. There is no strategy of engagement or disengagement. And there's just no backbone. I mean, how would you have a terrorist today and not a terrorist tomorrow? It's really hard to actually.
They're all over the place. They were terrorists under Trump, and immediately Biden took that designation down. Even when they reinstalled it a few months ago, it was with a lesser designation. It wasn't that strong. Let's get your reaction to what Iran may be doing next. There is obviously the vowing of we're going to retaliate, IDF taking out a top commander. And you said, Brigitte, and I think it's they're tentacles. They're everywhere. So Iran can do a varied multitude, a myriad of things. What would you be looking for?
Well, look, they would have never done this under Trump because even when Trump took out Soleimani, they knew they didn't dare mess with America under Trump administration. Under Biden, it's scary because not only they can attack us overseas. Remember, Iranians are crossing over the lawless border that we have. God knows how many Iranian agents we have inside the United States who can carry terrorist attacks inside America. And right now, they are not deterred because they know that Biden is not going to attack. And even if he attacks, it's like playing cat and mouse. It's not really serious attacks. We have attacked empty buildings in Syria. We've had attacked empty warehouses in Iraq. We are not being serious about that, and that's the scary part.
Glenn, also with the Navy, last month, China increased its defense budget by 7.2%, but there's concerns about the Navy now. The Biden administration will be making cuts there. Is this the time to be doing that? It seems like they're more interested in other things that aren't helping us, like the trans visibility, the woke military, and there's serious concerns to Brigitte and to both of your points about where we are as a defensive strategy and just the optics of it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's more about image than action. I mean, as we've always been talking about, and it's always been the rhetoric about China taking Taiwan, is we need to really focus on building the Navy, and then taking 10 out and only buying 6. That's a negative buy over the time. And in fact, he only increased the budget by about 1%, but with inflation, it's actually a cut. So a lot of people really need to think about the numbers. With a lot of these ships that are actually, fighting the Houthis in that area, they should be in the Pacific. And the worst case is at the Marine Corps. So a lot of these littoral and amphibious ships that actually get the Marines into the areas, which would be critical in the Pacific or in other areas of the world, are actually being cut significantly. So this really impacts the Marine Corps even worse than the Navy itself. Absolutely the wrong time to do this.
We're going to take folks to the Pentagon in just a moment in a report. But while I have you, I'd like to also talk about what Jake Sullivan was planning to do before it's been delayed because of a medical issue. Brigitte, Jake Sullivan was going to meet with Saudi Crown Prince MBS to talk about Saudi accepting Israel normalization. I mean, this is exactly what Trump had been doing with the Abraham Accords and with all the work he had done. He was welcomed in Saudi. He knows they're an important ally. They are also, like us, against Iran, against the Yemen and the Houthi rebels. Why do they think Jake Sullivan, an Obama appeaser, could go in and strike this deal? Does it show how desperate Biden is after calling MBS a pariah, that they think they're going to try to help them and give them an olive branch at this time in this moment in the world?
Well, Biden needs to show some accomplishment. He has zero accomplishment on every single front. So this is an election year. They want to show that, hey, we've done something, because all Biden has done up to this point is drag us into war. So this is an olive branch. They're trying to work with the Saudis. Look, the Saudis are easy to work with because the Saudis are now facing Iran. So you've got Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and that Sunni bloc within the Middle East who want to have peace with Israel, and they need the assistance of the United States, and they need Israel on their side because they need to establish a counterbalance to Iran. Iran wants to establish hegemony in the Middle East, and Iran right now is appearing as a strong horse in the Middle East because of the way they are defeating America. So Jake Sullivan is hoping to strike a deal with Saudi Arabia, between Saudi Arabia and Israel, so at least they can show something at the end of the 4 years of Biden's presidency other than dragging America into war.
Are you sure? I mean, they want it. They need it for optics and for votes to say it would be a major boon, obviously. But then, like I said, you're going to come in and say, but the Houthis, yeah, we might take off their terrorist designation, which would actually not be advantageous to Saudi Arabia, the neighbor right there in a civil war, Glenn.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Iran has their tentacles into, everything from, Hezbollah to Hamas, the Houthis, and again, all those other factions that attacked us in Syria and Iraq. So when, a lot of people saying, oh, we need to strike Iran, I think that was dangerous about going after a specific state. But you can strike Iran, IRGC, and other areas that they're operating in and that they're strong in, which is Iraq, Syria, all these different areas. So in that faction, you're able to stop Iran from actually making these terrorist actions push forward against Israel and the United States and others without striking Iran itself. But this is one way to get them in the field.
Well, right now, Israel took a big step towards it by taking out that commander in Syria. Brigitte, your final thoughts?
Good for Israel for doing that. Israel sent a very strong message to Iran. We are serious. Don't mess with us because we will take action. And good for Netanyahu for doing that assault. It wasn't easy for Israel to make that decision. Israel needed to make that decision. And it's a very strong signal to Iran to deter Iran from meddling in what Israel is trying to accomplish in Gaza.
With or without the U.S., like you said, they're making the statements with them. It seems like they're pressing forward, and we'll see what happens in Rafah. Brigitte Gabriel, Glenn Ignacio, a pleasure to have you both. Great analysis.
Thank you.
Good morning, too. Have a good day.
Thank you. Come back real soon. Appreciate it.